Hello, Imran, you okay? Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Rich.
Cool. It's just that I'm on a different computer, you see, and it's a pain setting up the sound settings. I'm in the office.
Oh, yeah, I saw your update earlier.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Give it a few minutes and before we get started.
Hi, everyone. Let's just wait for one more minute and then we'll get started.
Yeah. Just before we do get started, Imran, could you allow screen sharing, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Before it start, two things I want to share. First of all, hi, good morning, everyone. Just to update today, there was unfortunately Salman, our task lead, one of the task lead, couldn't attend today's meeting. He has some internet issues on his end, so he's supposed to present some stuff. So he will not be able to present his part, which means we have to have today's is one more meeting tomorrow at the same time. So then he can cover his part of the data pipeline, so at least we can carry on further. However, Rich has his own stuff as well. He will share with us as well. So it means tomorrow we have to meet. Second announcement is that I want to get your guys' opinion. We already have a folder project management from part 1 carried over. Do you guys think if it's congested, I can share another project. We can create another project management folder for part 2 specifically, where we keep all these part 2 specific links over there. So you guys share your opinion, or feel free to speak up right now. So at least I'll just
I think that makes sense. As you know, because the two phases in this task are very different. So I think separating them out would make sense, and it's just easier to navigate as well, because as you upload more, the files get smaller and smaller, and it's a bit complicated. But so yeah, I think a separate folder for phase 2 would be a good idea. That's my opinion. If anyone else has got any others,
I'm personally cool either way.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share their opinion? Otherwise, please speak up. It's your personal preference thing.
From my side, I think I explored all the Notion and how you structure it. So after you exploring like where the files and what you need to watch and what week is them related, so it's okay like to have a part 2 also there.
It's okay to have a separate part?
I mean together, but you need to to navigate it to understand like how you put the files, and so
yeah, that will always be the case, right? There, at least to initially get used to it. I know for some of you it will be pretty new, this Notion.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any opinion?
Yeah, I also feel the same. If you're having everything in one, it could get clogged. But when you're having a separate one documentation will be needed for sure. Otherwise, the navigation to where to go, what to get, it becomes really difficult.
It's better to keep it separate, right? Okay, we'll do that. Right?
Yeah, separate, okay. But again, that will require a little extra work in what's where thing like documentation.
So here's the thing, like for part 1 of our project, it has 3 different important sections: data pre-processing, EDA, and feature engineering. So right. The current one which you're using, it already had 3 different parts, so everybody knew where to go for right. That particular part. So for part 2, if we create, it will be again part 1, 2, 3 for part 2 specific. So you just know where to go. So that will be related to that model development, model evaluation, model deployment. So you know which 3 parts where you should expect what.
Yeah, that's also one thing. If you're trying to get into this field, a little bit of researching and trying to learn things on your own, and of course the Slack team is there to help.
Exactly.
It should help, I think. Yeah, separating them would be the best option though.
Okay, then we are gonna go with separating based on whatever the majority have said so far. Anybody have the opinion? Feel free to share. Otherwise, we are moving on. Also, in a day or two, I'll send out the survey as well. That's what those who are new in this part 2 of this challenge. We also have had a survey in part 1 in which we ask participants if they have any issues or concern or whatever they think so far how our project is going. They can share their opinion on that survey. And it's an anonymous survey, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Just say it, so at least we can tailor our approach accordingly based on your guys' feedback. So try to get that done also in a day or two time frame after it's posted. Okay, that's enough from my side. Today we're gonna sharp end at 9:55. I have a meeting and Rich also have a plan as well. So Rich, do you want to get started?
Yep. So what I wanted to show you today, in the last meeting, I went over a couple of the data pipelines that I put together, and I was handling the ones that the data sets that had been imputed with a KNN imputer. The most recent one I've done at the moment is the PCA. I'm having a little bit of a trouble with the RFE to get any sort of coherent results, but I'm working on it, and Salman apparently has cracked what I couldn't crack. So I'm going to wait for him to upload his. He unfortunately can't at the moment because the internet is down. I think it's an issue in Toronto specifically. But anyway, I've done the most recent one I've done and uploaded is the PCA. So the PCA is principal components analysis. We tested this out in our sort of feature engineering section, and it really is quite a powerful algorithm for reducing dimensions and picking out basically the most important features of our data set. So what I've done is pretty much plugged in our transformed X-train and Y-train data and plotted this graph here. And basically what this says is as you go up in features along this axis, it calculates how much of these features account for each, how much of the data set. So what we can see here around the 17 mark, we're looking at quite a, this is like your 10%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, 80, and so on and so forth. So around about 17, you look at, somewhere around here. So it's nearly, 17 features in the data set can account for nearly 100% of what we got. And this is only the independent variables in this. You shouldn't include the dependent variable. So what I've done here is pretty much fit and transformed these 17 that I've calculated here, and it gives, and using the explained variance ratio attribute of PCA, you can see these are 17 attributes. The problem is with PCA is that we can't interpret this. We can't really identify what features these are. It is a very powerful model, but it does come with its downsides, and that's one of them. But all these particular features, the greatest one, it can explain 29% of our data set, and altogether them 17 is 97% of our data set. So what I've done here is created a new data frame with these features, 17 features, and as you can see, it's reduced down to 17 features compared to the 51 in the original data set. And what I've done quite rudimentary is I've rejoined the data. So I've taken our 17 feature data set that is being defined in PCA, and I've attached our Y variable to it, simply so I can then resplit it down and put it into separate training sets. And hopefully we don't have any data leak in this particular method. I haven't 100% checked it yet. I'm going to do that today, but I'll post the results if anything needs to be changed within this template. This template has been uploaded into the GitHub, and it's under task number 7. So please go in there, try it yourself, and have a mess around with the figures. Just because they explain 90%, these 17 features explain 97% of our data set, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the best option to go for. So please have a go and edit them and see what you can do. The second part of what I want to discuss, I uploaded a model selection template, and this is based on a template that I use when I'm doing my own personal projects, and this is the regression one. I'm pretty much, to make it very simple, I put me train and test data through it. It checks the performance against a number of different regressors. Depending on the sort of data set, I include some, I exclude some. That's just up to you. But in this particular example, I've gone with 15 different types, and what it does is take the data, it runs it through every single model in this particular list, all 15 of them, but it does it without any sort of hyperparameters. And what it does, it spits out a table which tells you what model, how quick it took to, the time it took to run. It gives you the RMSE and the RMSE SCV as well. And then from that, you can pick the top performing model. The last time I ran this, the best performing model was the XGB regressor, XG Boost, and this was the results. It plots out the results as well from the predicted values to the actual values, and as you can see, it's got no sort of parameters, so it is quite messy. It could be, especially around this potential prediction here, it can be tightened up. So the next part of this template is you can tune the hyperparameters, and this checks what hyperparameters you have in the particular model. And then we can then just set out a couple of different, you can play around this all day, but this one I used, a couple different hyperparameters for each sort of parameter in XGBoost, and it loops through them using a grid search. And eventually, once it's run, this one, last time I ran, it took about an hour, and it gives you the optimum parameters for your prediction, and then you can replot the graph and see how it's changed. It is quite useful. Is it perfect? No. But if you can use this, it might give you a good indication of what models are working better for each of the data pipelines. And if you've built any data pipelines yourself, please, by all means, run it through this and see what you can find. It's just a quick way to test the model and evaluate it at the same time. This is just a shortcut that we can do this manually as well over the next couple of tasks. It's probably better to do it manually over the next couple of tasks. We learn more that way. But this is just a handy tool to have in your arsenal when you enter data science and data science industry. I use it in my job all the time. And especially the classification one at the minute. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to go through today. Please download this, mess around with it, make it better. Give me a shout if you found any errors in it, please. I'm willing to listen, and I want to learn as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Is there any questions around what I've done and so far, or in general? Silence is golden. But yeah, it's
I have a question regarding the PCA. So last time I brought it up because of the interpretability issue.
Yeah.
And I think someone mentioned that you could take the inverse. So I guess what is your thought?
Yeah, I don't think it can be done reliably. That's one of the key features of PCA. It is strong, but it really reduces your interpretability. Is there a way to interpret it a lot better? Yes, there is, but I think it, there's what is it, truncated CV, I think it is. That is a interpretable version of PCA. I think that's the name of it. I could be mistaken. I haven't got a hand at the minute. That might be an alternative that we can use to make the model more interpretable. But PCA as a whole, I don't think it is that great. It's powerful, but it is really powerful. It's really useful, but in terms of learning how to, we do have beginners in here, and I don't think it's the right one, because we want to be able to explain our output and see exactly what. Yeah, so we might get interesting results for it, but taking it forward, I don't necessarily agree that we should take it forward. But that's open for debate.
Yeah, I'm thinking, the goal is we would like not just for the prediction, right? I think the main goal is we would like to understand and what kind of action that can be taken if we cannot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if we do have a model that can be interpreted well, future data sets that, if we were putting this into production, into a real life company, we could then go back to them and say, well, we're getting fantastic predictions with this particular set of features. So in the future, we can receive the data in a much cleaner way. So we can avoid all this, if you know what I mean. So that's why I don't necessarily agree with PCA being the model of choice, even though it is quite powerful. It does have some use cases, but for the sake of what we're trying to achieve in this particular project, I don't really like it. That's just me, though. I'm willing to debate, and if
I agree with
if someone could, yeah. But other than that, please, it's PCA is powerful, and if you just want to explore it, different types of and different interpretations of the PCA, please go in there and mess around with the features and mess around with some of the numbers in there and see what we can pull out. But yeah, it's not very interpretable. And is there any more questions around that or the model selection template? I am keen to see if anyone has done any work themselves and to see if they've done anything that might be interesting that we've overlooked. So if no one's got any questions, I'd be happy to hand the mic over to someone.
Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I've used Automl several times. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Automl in Azure.
Yep, I know. I've never used it. I don't use it a lot, but I have looked at it a couple of times in Azure. That's the cloud hosting service we currently use in work. But
interesting because you give the data set and kind of identify. You can tell, okay, you do feature engineering for me, you clean my data, and give me what is the best algorithm for my data set to do the machine learning. So you go through every possible algorithm in machine learning and then give you, okay, XG boosting give you 95% accuracy. Then the second one is random forest, and third one is other approach. So we can use the AutoML, just figure it out what are the top 3 models that we can use. If you want, I can do it and present it for maybe on Sunday. If you are okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. It sounds good. Yeah. And I'd be keen to know more about AutoML. It's just something I haven't used yet. But yeah, thank you very much for that.
Other option, the hyperdrive is similar to AutoML, but it needs coding. I can work on that one too. You can then compare these 2 results. Okay.
Cool. I'm happy with that.
Great.
Can you share the
hyperdrive? The name.
Hyperdrive. Okay.
Yeah, I can put in the chat. So.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, that'll be great. So has anyone done any work against the attempted to create their own data pipelines at any point? I'd be keen to see what they've done and how they put it together. If anyone's got anything to share, if not, don't worry. We can meet tomorrow, and Salman's going to run through his data pipeline set that he's done with the simple imputer.
And to be honest, we are I still in part 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Just to let you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, for me also in the part 1, it's not easy to just do off quickly, especially when you're just trying to get inside doing this. I initially when I was exploring the data, I tried to look at some things on the test data set, but I didn't get any good results, and probably I maybe I don't know if it's the size of the data or what other factors are, but I couldn't. So I'm just from my side, I'm just trying to follow each and every step, which takes a long time though.
Really I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where
that's cool.
I'm just trying to follow and keep doing. That's my update.
Yeah. Cool. No problem. Thanks very much for that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. If anyone has got any questions at all, just message me on Slack. I'm there, and I'll help you out as best I can. Is there anything from you, Imran, at all? I know this meeting was going to be quite brief, only because, you know, we're missing Salman kind of thing to present his, and I presented mine last time, so yeah.
I'm just going to briefly touch base on what we have planned for week 2 and 3. We are hoping once Rich and Salman once Rich and Salman presents, once the presentation ends tomorrow, we are hoping that some of the participants to step up and maybe be a lead for week 2 and 3. So although Rich and Salman will be leading some aspect as well, but we are hoping the other participants also maybe take a lead in terms of kind of repeat with their approaches. Maybe their approaches for making data pipelines is much different than what they have covered. So maybe they can be a co-lead, and then they can have some people under them and they can work under them. Some people just join them and work under them. So there'll be maybe like a 4 to 5 teams, or maybe, and who will be doing different kind of data pipelines of their approaches, and there'll be participants working under them. So that way we will get a broader knowledge in terms of with the different approaches. Different leads will be taking different approaches, and many people get to learn different approaches. And in final week, we will have 5 different, assuming there are 5 or 4, whatever the different leads, assuming step up, maybe we will have 4 to 5 different approaches on how end-to-end they will present on what they've done throughout this project in part 2. That's just one of the idea we came up recently to get the most of this entire month experience, because that, rather than just doing very refined, we're hoping to get a broader knowledge as well. So Komal, our task lead, she will for PM task lead, she will be sharing a sign up sheet as well. So feel free to sign up on that. All right.
Yeah, I'd just like to say as well.
Please, would you like to add something on that?
Being a task lead, it's fantastic. You learn a lot, and you know, having a lot of people's different feedbacks and insight into things that you may have not looked at or you may have overlooked. It's fantastic. So, you know, if you are confident enough, try it, because it is a good learning experience, and it is good to take responsibility for this project. It gives you a good sense of achievement. So yeah, fully recommend it.
Thanks, Rich, for giving your 2 cents. Actually, the whole idea of this project is something we want to eventually apply in our own company, and or maybe get into a new job. So over there'll be higher expectations. So this is a perfect platform to take the charge, and you can try and test out a few different things and get the feedback. And there's not much at stake on your end. But if you go and work in company, there's a lot at stake, so you cannot afford to mess up. So it's an excellent opportunity. Please take full advantage, because just watching videos on just doing a bit here and there, you can still would learn, but wouldn't learn much to be able to do something bigger down the road. So I highly encourage, in terms of learning wise as well, to take the lead if possible, if you feel comfortable. Komal, do you want to add something on? Do you have anything to share?
No, I think Imran, you covered.
Oh,
you and Rich covered.
Okay, good. So any questions, anyone?
I have a question, Imran.
Sorry?
So
Okay.
I have a question. So for this week, we are going to just figure out what is the best model for our data set. And next week, we want to use the model. And the third week, we want to deploy the model, yes?
So that was the original idea, but now we are thinking that just a new idea came. We are thinking maybe we can, since Rich and Salman have done like 10 data, 11 actually, including the base one, pipelines as well. We are hoping now any one of us can see all end-to-end how that whole process works. So we are hoping maybe we can tweak it a little. Maybe we can ask some other volunteers, because we noticed there are some experienced people also in this pool of candidates in this part 2. So you're hoping maybe some experienced people who are already in industry, maybe they can step up. They can be also a lead, and they can, maybe they have done something differently in their own when they're working. So maybe they can sub-lead a team, and then they can do end-to-end pipeline of model development as well as evaluation. And we can have at least 4 to 5 different leads, including Rich and Salman, who can lead with different approaches, and many other participants just join under them. Like we will assign an algorithm, and algorithm will place them under those different 4 leads, and we can afford different approaches of model development and evaluations, and then eventually for the model deployment in final week. That's just an idea. We will see how many people sign up. Komal will be sharing the sign up sheet today, and then let's see how many people among you who step up, take the lead. I think it's an excellent way to learn. Highly recommend that. And depends on the participants' lead or like the participation, like how they take the charge. We will decide how to approach it forward. So by tomorrow, hopefully we will have a decent idea on that.
Great.
Great. We like this idea. I like this idea.
Sorry?
I like this idea.
Thank you.
And
I think it's an excellent
maybe
way. It's a short, compact time.
Yeah.
You'll learn a lot.
Yeah, and maybe in Slack we have more people that are not attending this call that will volunteer to be task leaders.
Exactly. So that sign up sheet, feel free to sign up over there. Any other questions, anyone?
Hi, Imran. This is Benita.
Hi, Benita.
Yeah. Imran, I just started looking into the data from the time series perspective. I'm just in the preliminary stage. So I can share like one insight which I have found. And I mean, because I was not part of part 1, I'm not sure whether you guys have covered it. Probably it will take like 2 or 3 minutes only.
Sure. That particular thing might be helpful for tomorrow, though. But yes, you can share if it's
sure. Oh no, if it is tomorrow, I think it's better. I can share it tomorrow. I can come up with something more. You have a meeting for tomorrow, is it?
Yeah. So tomorrow, everyone, tomorrow we will have meetings same time tomorrow. So
Okay.
Salman can share our 4 different pipelines which he couldn't, or because of the internet issue.
Sure. Then I can present tomorrow. Not an issue.
Can you send us an invite for tomorrow's meeting?
I will today, actually. It was just happened in a very last minute that Salman messaged us that he couldn't make it. So yes, I'll send out later today that meeting invite.
Perfect.
Any other question, anyone? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up. As I said, if anyone's got any questions, just give me a shout.
Sounds good. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks very much. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.